need a restroom or layup? So do you need a table?
Hello.
It looks like the teams won't share Adobe.
It should pop up
Here we go.
under
I got it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You see it now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna step over, but just yell if you need me, and I'll come back.
I don't have. What do you mean?
I cut this thing off.
Yeah, it's in here.
Say that.
Hello. Hello.
Hello? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, look, you don't have to. Okay. Now, when you, decide, yeah, you have to, we'll find somebody else to do. This will have to. We don't want somebody.
It's interesting because most teams need other people can admit, like,
Okay.
they to admit.
Maybe Christine would do it.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
that's it. Most teams meetings that I've been in, there's nobody else that needs to be admitted. Are you? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
You can ask.
Christine, are you there?
I'm here.
Christine, would you be able to, admit folks,
Yes.
to the meeting for us? I
Yes.
just want to make sure nobody is unadmitted to the meeting.
I'll go ahead and admit anyone who pops in.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Hello. Hello.
Hello? We're here.
Hello. Hello. Yes. Just trying to get into the meeting through phone call.
Right, you're in the meeting.
Okay. I just wanted to know. I'm Joyce Pollard from Clovis.
Thank you, Joyce.
This is going to be the year where we have our final run to really get everything
asking you press that button right there. Press the button.
2020, it is increased.
It's in here. Yeah, I'm good right now. I would think it's in the orientation part of this handbook. I know that I included it, because everybody would have the latest role. So let's flip through the.
I think,
You found it?
I found the source.
107.
108, sir.
I like all the.
107,
Right.
sir.
Yes, right.
Commissioner Oscar Robinson.
Yes.
Commissioner Carolyn Tron. Commissioner Secretary of State Maggie Ruth Oliver. Oliver's proxy.
Executive Director said they distributed over 150,000 books to children in 2020.
I'm sorry, Chairman. We can We can barely hear you online.
My voice? Seriously? Okay. Over here? You hear me better over here or over there?
Over where you're at right now, I can hear you better. We also have Joyce, I believe, is on. Somebody needs to mute themselves so we can hear the meeting. There's a couple people phoning in. If you can mute yourselves, please.
Anyone who is not speaking or please mute yourself. Meanwhile, the hour is being engaged so that you can change the audio quality for anyone who is listening. And just note that we are improving our audio quality.
I can hear you guys better now that they've muted themselves.
Thank you for that. Okay.
Chairman, would you like me to start over or continue?
Yeah, I think you can continue because you had that Commissioner Robinson is present, Commissioner Traub is present, and you were continuing with Secretary of State, who was not present. That's how far you got, right?
Yes, yeah. So now I'm gonna go with State Treasurer Laura Montoya.
Christina Naya, designee for the treasurer, present.
Present. Secretary Josette Monet from Indian Affairs or proxy? Designee. All right, we're gonna skip on that one. Dr. Hazel Melia. Present. Public Relations Commissioner Pat O'Connell. Pat O'Connell's proxy or designee.
Present.
Commissioner Constance Williams, Vice Chair. Commissioner Brandy Stone. Present. Commissioner Anthony Umi. There's a no. All right. Commissioner Mr. Joseph Dabney.
Present.
Present. Commissioner and Chairman, Honorable Little B. West. Present. And I believe that's it, because I think I'm gonna call myself present. Let's get it on.
Okay, so with that, we have our newest commissioner present today, who was appointed to the commission by House Minority Leader Gail Armstrong in December, Commissioner Carolyn Traub. Commissioner Traub, would you please introduce yourself to your fellow commissioners and to the members of the public?
Absolutely. Carrie, I don't know why my parents named me Carolyn. I never called Carolyn, but go by Carrie. Just a little bit about myself. I just finished my residency for the Greater Outreach Association of Realtors. So I'm very excited to take that knowledge and that's about it. Any questions?
No, but thank you for that introduction. Appreciate it. Welcome to the commission and thank you for being here. In addition to our newest commissioner, we also have present with us our longest serving commissioner, Commissioner Oscar Robinson, who has not been present with us in quite some time. But we are also welcoming back to the commission today. Commissioner, it's a new day in MLK, and we are happy to see you joining with us in that. As there are a number of commissioners here who have not met you, I wanted to give you an opportunity also to introduce yourself to them. Would you like to take a moment to do that?
Yes, sir, Chair. I would be glad to. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to introduce myself to those commissioners who never met me. I guess I was appointed to the commission by the former retired Senator Stuart Ingle in about 2007. Served on the commission for up to that point, to this point, and I was reappointed by Senator Ingle, and then when he lost the minorityship to Senator Greg Barker. Greg Barker continued my appointment, and that is serving that part. I had the opportunity and the pleasure to be involved with this commission for so many years, and also had the pleasure of being the chair of the commission at one time. And the commission work is well thought of throughout New Mexico, especially here. I fight to make sure it's well thought of here in Portales. Portales is a community that is very diverse, but at the same time, as the president of the Martin Luther King Commission is very solid. And that is my role here in this area, and the Eastern Plain Council of Governments, which cover all of the 9 counties in this area, and continue to speak for the Martin Luther King Commission within those councils of government. So I think that with the Clovis of Loris community, they do a great job with their Martin Luther King Commission, and we join them and we applaud them and kudos to them for what they do up in Clovis. And we have a little smaller community, but our community is really involved with Martin Luther King Jr. Dream and what the commission goals are. That's basically all I can say.
Commissioner, thank you for your comments and for introducing yourself to the commission, and we really appreciate that. Mute that.
I thought it was muted.
Pardon us for just a minute while we attend to a brief audio issue. Okay.
Chairman, can we also get the camera turned to see the board members?
How about that? Did that work better?
Yes, now that Owl's broadcasting.
Okay.
Thank all of you.
And thank you for letting us know about that issue. Glad we fixed it. So on to item number 3 of the agenda, with the establishment of the quorum. If I've counted correctly, we have at least 10 commissioners present. And with that, I find a quorum to be present. On to item 4 of the agenda. Is there a motion for approval of the agenda? Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Traub. Is there a second to approve? And Vice Chair has seconded the motion to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the secretary to call the roll.
Commissioner Joseph Dabney.
Present.
Commissioner, I think you want to vote yes or no on approval of the agenda, or maybe abstain.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, on the approval of the agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Brandy Stone. Yes. Commissioner Constance Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Pat O'Connell, designee.
Yes.
Sir, how do I pronounce that?
Carroll is my last name, Mackley Carroll.
And what do you want to be called?
I'm Commissioner Carroll.
Commissioner Carroll, thank you. Commissioner Dr. Hazel Million.
Hang on just a second. Everyone who is not.
Hey Candace, how you doing?
Fine,
Hang on, folks.
I'm
folks,
sorry, I
folks
saw,
need to
just
mute.
saw the email. Did you
Someone
ever
is
get
having a
the
phone
Zoom,
call. It is interrupting our commission
information
meeting,
for the
and
meeting?
they need to mute themselves. Your phone call is being broadcasted publicly during a public meeting, and I don't know if you want that. Okay. Thank
Chairman,
you for
I'm
muting.
muting, I'm muting all of them.
Okay, thank you, Member Anaya. I appreciate that.
Well, let's try to avoid the interruption. All that approve, yay?
No, we're required by bylaws to do the roll call.
Oh, okay. All right. Commissioner, State Treasurer Laura Montoya designee.
Yes.
Nate, is not here. Commissioner Oscar Robinson. Yea or nay, sir? Oscar Robinson? Could you unmute, sir? If you approve?
We might have to come back to him. We'll come back to him in.
Okay.
Okay.
Commissioner Donnie Rothini? Yay. Chairman, we have all yays. Do you still want to vote?
I'm required to under the bylaws. I vote yes.
Yes. All right.
So let's just double check if Commissioner Robinson can vote.
Commissioner Robinson?
I approve, Commissioner Robinson approve.
He votes yes. Okay, so the motion carries. All right, by a vote of
Yes.
What happened?
They had it muted, so they couldn't hear us.
9.
okay.
9 yays.
Okay. All right. So, I do want to note we have a very busy agenda today, and it includes what, might be the first commissioner orientation I know for sure during the time that I've been a commissioner. So, just asking everybody's help to try to keep us moving as quickly as we can through our business so we can make sure we get through our orientation as well. So with that, moving on to the next item of our agenda, which is approval of the minutes. Item number 5, is there a motion for approval of the minutes? Motion to approve the minutes by Commissioner Traub. Is there a second?
I wasn't there.
She wasn't there, so she withdraws her motion. Okay, then it's, you weren't there either.
Oh.
I motion to go. I move to.
Okay, Commissioner Stone has the motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, that was Member
Member
Anaya.
Anaya, yes. Sure.
Okay, is there any discussion? Hearing none, the secretary to call the roll.
Commissioner Dabney.
Abstain.
Commissioner Stone. Commissioner Vice Chair Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Carroll.
Corolla, like Toyota
Corolla.
Corolla, but without the A. Yes.
Commissioner Carroll.
Yes.
Yes. Commissioner Amelia.
Yes.
Commissioner Montoya designee.
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson. Commissioner Rothini. Yes. Commissioner Oscar Robinson.
Abstain.
Okay. We have 7 yeas and 2 abstains, Chairman.
Okay, and the motion carries. And did I vote?
Do you need to vote?
I have to, under the bylaws.
Mr. Bylaw Chairman,
That's why
yea or nay on the minutes?
I need to add a yay to that.
All right, we have
8.
8 yeas.
Yes, thank you. And so, so it takes us to the next item on the agenda. This is the Dr. King minute. And so on this item, I feel like I need to first explain it because we do have some new commissioners and I know we have some members of the public. And I want to briefly explain it. when I became chair of the commission, I added this agenda item to further the commission's mission to educate. And that's one of the things that we're supposed to do about Dr. King's teachings. So I added this as a brief opportunity every meeting to do that, to educate, for every commissioner to have that opportunity, some teachings about from Dr. King that impacts, inspires, and motivates them in this time. So Secretary Rothini started us off in November. Vice Chair Williams continued with a presentation in December, and I'm now bringing a perspective to you in January. And my hope is that each of the commissioners will be able to bring something to share with us at the, and the public at future meetings to continue to share Dr. King's teachings with each other and with the public in a small but meaningful way at the top of every meeting. Now, for today's Dr. King Minute, I wanted to bring a brief summary of the messaging that I shared with the public at commemorative events. And it was shared in Albuquerque, and I know it was shared in Clovis, and I know it was shared in Santa Fe. And I didn't want it just to be shared in those places. My hope is it can be shared across the state in time. But I know that those events were places where I had an opportunity to share them. And I don't want it to be limited there, but that's where I could get started. Got to start somewhere. So if you attended any of those events, these quotes and these concepts going to be familiar to you. And the point that I made going to be familiar to you as well. So the summary goes like this. This is a very condensed summary because, as I said, this is a Dr. King minute. I had a little bit more time to work with. So for the present moment, it's the Dr. King minute. So first, I would like to remind you of Dr. King's quote about the fierce urgency of now, when he said, "We are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is today. We are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. In this unfolding conundrum of life and history, there is such a thing as being too late." Secondly, I would like to call to mind Dr. King's quote that rarely do we find people who willingly engage in hard, solid thinking. There is an almost universal quest for easy answers and half-baked solutions. Nothing pains some people more than having to think. So, inspired by Dr. King's two quotes, this is in a nutshell what it is that I said. I said, if we at once recognize both the fierce urgency of this now that we are facing and the persistence of some stubborn inequities in our society that have not turned loose even since the time of Dr. King, we will be motivated to apply the full force of our minds to confront and correct those issues. In doing so, we will find out how to accomplish as chair of New Mexico's King Commission. I invited the community to join the commission by adding their knowledge, their wisdom, and their experience to that of the commissioners by applying to be part of an advisory committee of community members that I would be asking this commission to form at this meeting. And I said that the committee would be called the New Day at MLK Committee. I was inspired by Dr. King's teachings. And I asked the community members to apply to be on the committee. I asked the community to give the commission their comments on how their communities could be improved across the state and how the commission could help them to improve their communities. And I expressed hope and belief that working together, we can improve things for the better. That's today's Dr. King Minute. And the new date MLK committee is part of agenda item number 11A on today's agenda. That takes us to agenda item number 7. And I need to ask if Representative Pamela Herndon is online. Representative Herndon, are you online? She might not be. She's very busy right now at this time of year. The legislature is in session. And if she is not online, we will absolutely have to excuse her. It's a very busy and hectic time for her as a legislator. If we see her come online, we will prioritize her presentation and we will interrupt our proceedings and allow her to do her presentation whenever she is available to do it. So if anyone notices Representative Herndon to come online, please interrupt me and let me know that so we can give her the time that she needs to do a presentation. And we'll, even if she's not able to come online during this meeting, we'll assume that she is tied up with her responsibilities as a legislator, and we'll roll this item to the next meeting. Okay, agenda item number 8, which is public comment and community input. Do we have anyone present today who would like to give community comment or input today? You'll be welcome to do so. Yes, sir. Yeah, and just so everyone knows, we are asking everyone who would like to speak just to keep their comments to 2 minutes. Do I have anyone who could just keep time for me?
I can keep time.
Thank you, member and commissioner. Appreciate that. Yes, sir, you're recognized.
My name is Will Williams. I'm a community advocate here in Albuquerque, grew up in the International District. One of the things that I've noticed and I've kind of seen happen here is the presence of the OAAA MLK Commission in our community is kind of like disappeared. It's really not there. A lot of the events that used to take place here in this building have kind of gone away. There's really not a presence. And then since the Black Expo is gone, that was one of the key events that we used to have in our community every year, and that's gone away. So it just seems like with a lot of the things, a lot of the activity disappearing, that there's no more community engagement and there's a lack of people wanting to come and be part of what the MLK Commission and OAAA has going on here. So I feel like the advisory panel would be a good thing. I think there's a lot of people in the community that would love to give their input, that would love to be part of the thing that's going on, seeing that some of the things in the community has kind of deteriorated. We feel it would be it would be strong to have the community advisory panel. It's something that's needed. I think that for a long time, we've had a lot of the people, and this is not a shot to any of the commission members here, but I think we've had a commission that's kind of lost touch with the community. So I feel like it's a new day. I think some of the issues that the MLK Commission had, some of the people that were in the office are gone now. And so I think it's a new day. I think we need to look at new leadership as far as outside of the office goes for some of the positions that are available. But definitely I'm on board with the advisory panel. I think the people in the community feel shut out from any kind of process or anything that's going on with the MLK Commission. And it kind of shuts us out from giving any kind of input or anything. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Is there anyone else who would like to give comment? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Deidre Gordon and I'm here with Faith Works Counseling. I did want to, I do acknowledge what you're saying and agree. However, I did want to acknowledge the work that you all do, so thank you. But also, more importantly, I wanted to say that Acting Executive Director Beverly Gaines, in the short amount of time that she's been here, excuse me, she's done an amazing job. And I think that the work that you're doing, Ms. Gaines, is bringing the community together. And I have seen a lot of changes, and I just wanted to let you know that we see you and we appreciate you. So thank you.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Anyone else who would like to speak?
Chairman, we do
Bishop?
have someone online.
Okay, what we'll do is receive the comments from the folks who are here in person first, and then we'll proceed to folks who are online. Bishop Cooper.
Two things. First of all, thank God for the commission. Acting director is doing an amazing job. The third thing is we noted that the governor has written that we should have a 26% increase in our budget, but the legislative committee for appropriations has recommended less than 1%. And so I think that one of the things that the commission should help us do is to galvanize the community during this session to push for what the governor wants for the commission. I think it's impossible, even with advisors coming on, and they may advise you of something that is fantastic, but if you don't have the funds for it, no matter how well it is advised and planned out, whatever the project is, if you don't have the dollars, you can't accomplish what even the community would like for you to accomplish. And so I encourage the commission, I don't know what is your statutory ability to encourage our community as a whole to start to call their state reps, their state senators about supporting what the governor has put in ink, that she wants 26% increase in your budget. And I think that's really important, and for the commission not to address it in some kind of way is malfeasance. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Bishop Cooper. Anyone else in person who wish to speak? Okay, seeing none online. I can't see if anyone has raised their hand.
Devontae Watson.
Okay, Mr. Watson, you recognize.
Hello, can the commission hear me?
Yes.
Hello, thank you through the chair, commissioners, distinguished guests, and members of the commission, community members. Thank you, Chairman, for bringing up the Martin Luther King, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. minute about the fierce urgency of now. And I would just like to commemorate and celebrate all of the new commissioners who have joined. Dr. King writes about and speaks about what is the blueprint. And I believe what the blueprint is for the commission is something like a New Day at MLK Commission Advisory Committee, which I helped coin. As the chairman knows, that was a direct quote from me, a new day at MLK, which came to me in a dream several years ago. As many of you know, that I grew up in the commission since middle school under the past 3 directors, and have learned and have become a contributing member of the state of New Mexico. I do have a quote just to add on to the chairman's quote, which says, if it falls to be that you so happen to be a street sweeper, in this case, a commissioner, I'm speaking to the commissioners, be a commissioner like Michelangelo painted pictures. Be a commissioner like Beethoven composed music. Be a commissioner like Leonard type Price sings before the Metropolitan Opera, and be a commissioner like Shakespeare wrote poetry, to where heaven and earth says, here lies a great commissioner, to where heaven and earth must stop and to say, here lied a great commissioner to do the people's work. On behalf of
okay, Mr. Watson, I've been informed that your time has expired, but thank you for addressing us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I
Is
look
there-
forward to serving the commission in any capacity moving forward.
All right. Anyone else wishing to speak online? Okay, hearing none. Oh, sorry. Oh, someone in person would like to speak. I believe it's Reverend Dr. Miller.
Dr. Miller,
Thank you.
I am pastor of Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church, of course, oldest Black Baptist church here in Mexico. First of all, I want to say that Lady Gaines is doing an amazing job. Say that hands down. What she's been doing in the community is absolutely amazing. Another thing I want to say this right here to the commission. Are you willing to roll up your sleeves and fight? If 26% is proposed, then less than 1% is there. How are we willing to lobby? How are we willing to do what's necessary? Because to be visible in this day and age, it takes finances. Okay, how much that we commune with one another and we engage and Lady Gaines, I see her everywhere. I see her. I mean, I don't even know what level of time she has for herself because she's that active in the community, in the Black community. But I'm saying, what are we willing to do to undergird? It's, don't get me wrong, I understand the prestigious nature of being on the commission. But let's put politics to the side and say, you all, what are we going to do to galvanize? And I believe that's what Bishop Cooper was saying. What are we going to do to galvanize? What is the plan? Is there step by step? And I would imagine that this may have been some level of communication among the commission, I would imagine, so that we should somewhat have some steps to do. Legislation is commenced. So what are we gonna do?
Just 2 minutes. Thank you, Bishop.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. Appreciate it. Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none, I express my appreciation to all the speakers who addressed the commission. We really appreciate the public comment. It really helps us understand to hear it and receive your perspectives. We need that. And I say that sincerely. So we move on to our next item on the agenda, which is related to our most recent audit, which has become publicly available this month and has been included in our materials, has been circulated to commission. Is that right, Acting Director?
That is correct.
And I understand we may have our CFO who can speak to this audit. Is that right?
Yes, sir, Chair, I believe our mobile CFO, Lisa Jennings, I think she's on. There she is.
Okay, in that case, I will recognize mobile CFO Lisa Jennings to address the commission related to our most recent fiscal year's audit. CFO Jennings, you recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Acting Director Gaines. So I'm assuming it's probably available for everyone to see on the screen.
If CFO Jennings, let's make that happen for you since you requested it. Thank you, Commissioner Stone, for helping make that happen. Meanwhile, I think a point of personal privilege is, do we have some orders, Acting Director, that we can circulate to the commissioners?
We do. One upstairs, I could be.
Oh, or somebody else could do it for us, or maybe, oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Would it be easier for me to take over sharing for a minute and then you guys can take over sharing the agenda? Okay. So then I will share my screen quickly. Okay. So this report is publicly available on the state auditor's website. This is the most recently completed fiscal year. So this is fiscal year 2024. The audit firm was SJT Group LLC, and they did perform the audit in accordance with generally accepted accounting standards. So I'm very happy to present to the commission that the commission did receive a clean or unmodified opinion, and they only received 2 findings during the course of the audit. So one of those, of course, was the late audit finding, since we did end up submitting late during the transition. But otherwise, that's, doing really good for the commission. We only have the, it was an unmodified opinion and only the 2 findings. So, of course, the one was for the late audit report, and then the other one was for timely reversion. So both of those are state compliance items, and none of them really indicate that there's any significant issues with the commission. So I will stand for any questions regarding the audit report.
I just have 2, Chief Financial Officer Jennings. One is, if you could just confirm my understanding that with regard to the, the late audit, my understanding is just based off where the audit was, and where the information was as far as how much information had been submitted to the auditors as of October 18th, 2024, when we had our change of leadership, that really it was
at that point in time, yes, Mr. Chairman, it was way too late for the audit firm to get the audit completed. They had not been provided sufficient information prior to that to get the audit completed timely. But once we had the change in leadership and acting executive director Gaines, plus the support from the new commission members, we were able to get that turned around. So although the report was late, it wasn't significantly late. So it was still submitted in November. And then it has already been released. And I know there are other state agencies that are still waiting for their reports to get released, and they were submitted on time.
Right. So I guess my point is, in order for the audit to have been submitted on time, more work would have had been done before October 18th, 2024. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
At that point in time, they should have been finalizing the audit and have already drafted the report. Is ideal.
Okay. And then with regard to the other finding that had to do with timely reversion, that was also something that would have had been taken care of before October 18th, 2024, when new leadership of the commission assumed control. Do you agree with that also?
Yes, sir, because the statutory deadline for that particular reversion to take place, and by statutory, I mean, this is written in law, that reversion has to take place by September 30th every year. So that is definitely prior to October 18th, when the new commission members and when acting executive director Gaines took over the commission.
All right. And same thing with the new commissioners and, the new leadership that you were speaking to, as far as the chairman and the vice chair and the secretary and all the commissioners that you are addressing.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that correct? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So when we say it's a new day at MLK, and, even the audit findings that you are addressing, they do not reflect on the current board of commissioners.
And we hope
fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And we plan that next year they will not be repeated.
148.
And it sounds like as CFO, you are committed to that.
I'm committed to helping, but I don't know that I will still be the acting CFO at that point in time.
I'll express my hope that you are, because I believe you're committed to making sure that these things don't recur. And I believe acting director, you would also, if you were in the role, would be committed to making sure that they would not recur. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say, Chair.
Okay. All right, commissioners, I've asked my questions. Does anyone else have questions about this audit report? Okay. Seeing no other questions, then I guess that takes us to the next item on our agenda. Item number 10, Madam Acting Executive Director, your report.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you to the public. I'm going to see if they can pull my presentation up on the screen. Ms. Lisa, are you able to do that? As she's doing that, my report today will talk about the commemorations for 2025. Ms. Lisa will talk a little bit about the monthly budget, the finance status, and the updates. We'll talk a little bit about the Youth Leadership Conference of 2025, the commissioner emails, website and social media report, office staffing, CFO training, Ms. Lisa and I will talk a little bit about legislation and budget status, and then the Dr. Harold Bailey Memorial. So for the commissioners, I think you have yours in front of you. We have been doing our commemorative marches for the Martin Luther King Commission for over 20 years. And so this year we expanded, we were
Running the bus,
Bernalillo County, we were Otero County.
Okay.
150.
Madam Executive Director, let me just ask anyone who is not unmuted to make sure you mute yourselves online. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We were in the Otero County, in Alamogordo, Curry County, in Clovis, San Juan County, in Farmington, Cibola County, in Grants, Milan, Lea County, in Hobbs, Dodona Ana County, in Las Cruces, Roosevelt County, in Portales, Rio Rancho, Sandoval County, Roswell, Chaves County, and Santa Fe County. All of these particular counties had MLK events for this weekend. Some of them were 2 to 3 days. And so we are glad that we have moved the needle some as it pertains to more counties participating in the MLK Commission commemorative weekend. And so as we move to the updates, this is what we spent for the commemorative statewide updates. As of December 12th, we were $24,444. And then we had additional commemorations that were added. And so as of January 23rd, they were $19,648.23, which gave us a grand total of $44,092.23. So this is for everything that took place across the state in terms of different entities, churches, organizations that we funded or helped fund to make sure that they could have successful MLK commemorative weekends. Okay, questions? I wanted to let everybody know a little bit about our MLK events and programs that we have from here up to June. Because I want to make sure that everyone understands, even though we do a lot of work in the month of January, MLK Commission work is being done throughout the year. And so, of course, here I'm just showing you some of the events that we had in January and the different locations that we had them at. In February, of course, we will be having the National HIV here at APAC, we will be collaborating with, Office of African American Affairs along with the Department of Health and First Nations. That will be February the 7th from 9 to 4. We will have vendors and workshop classes, as well around, National HIV Day. On February the 14th, of course, is the African American Day at the Legislature. And so we will be taking a 56 passenger bus to Santa Fe for middle school students, MLK. We will be doing that. We want to make sure that they have an opportunity to be on the House floor, to have an opportunity to reach out to their senators, to their legislators, to understand how a bill becomes a law. And so we will be doing that. We are partnering with the African American Day at the Legislative Council, and we also schools across the state, as well as OAAA. I know there are buses coming from Clovis. And then I also know that there are some vans, I believe, coming from Hobbs as well, and there are some coming from Las Cruces. So we will be working with them for that. We will be celebrating 25 years that the African American Day at the Legislature have been having this particular event to celebrate that. And so February 16th at 1 o'clock in Los Alamos, I have been asked to go to the march from Selma to Montgomery, which is MLK reading, and they're having an event. And they're asking me to come and give words for that. So I will be there, represent MLK. On February 22nd, Black History Month program in Hobbs, we will be representing MLK, the commission. I will be representing the commission there. And then that Sunday from 3 to 6, the Black Student Alliance Electric Playhouse. Well, Electric Playhouse is the location, but they will be having an event there. And then on the 28th, the Black Business Summit. The location is to be announced, but that is from 8 to 4. And we will be partnering with the Black Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Department, along with the city of Albuquerque. And so that's for the month of February. For the month of March, it's International Women's Luncheon at the Sheraton Airport on March the 21st from 9 to 2. There'll be breakout classes. We will have some speakers, not only from DOH, but also from First Nations and other places that we will be working with OAAA, as well as the status of the Commission of Women. So that is one of our events for March. April is our Inner Beauty Summit, which is our middle school girls summit that we will be working with from 9 to 2 at Bonifacio. That is a event where we normally work with middle school girls who are African American or identify as minority. And so we will be working with APS. We will be working with the Delta Sigma Theta, Alpha Kappa Alpha, the Sigma Gamma Rhos, the Lynx, the Zeta Phi Beta, and the Black Chamber of Commerce. That is just some of the few. There are several other organizations that normally come alongside us to participate in that event. And that is in April. Then, of course, in June is our Youth Leadership Conference. And that is MLK Youth Leadership Conference that will be held June 26th through the 28th. This year, I am hoping that we will be having it at the Sheraton Airport Hotel. And so that is a event where we train our young people in leadership skills, networking skills. We have speakers. We also have fun activities so that it is a fun educational learning for them. Normally, we have about 125 to 150 kids from across the state that participate. So we are looking forward to doing that again this year in 2025. Any questions concerning the events and programs thus far? Okay, so we will go ahead to our monthly budget status. Miss Lisa, did you want to talk about this page, or did you want me to talk about it?
Sure, I can. Thank you, Acting Executive Director Gaines.
Thank you.
So, members of the commission, here is the current status of the budget as of yesterday when we ran the report. So there is 46% remaining of the current year budget for fiscal 25 in the 200 category, which The 200 category is for our personnel services, so that's where our salaries come from. Then we have 67% or $31,000 remaining in the 300 category, so that's our contractual expenses. And 49% remaining in the 400 category, which is kind of the conglomerate collection of everything else. It's called other. So this would be travel, this would be supplies, this would be kind of anything that doesn't fall under salaries or contractual services. So now some of that money is we're still working on paying out some of the commemorations, so that will be reduced a little bit by some of the commemorations that were just listed, but that will not be a significant impact on your overall remaining budget. And considering that we're about 50% of the way through the year, this is actually kind of a good place to be, because that means we have half of our budget left to finish the year with.
Any questions?
If not, here is the expense report for December. And then we went ahead and ran it through current in January. So January, of course, will change next month since we're still in the middle of January. But here were the expenses that we paid out in December. So we paid for progress billing on our audit report. We had our kind of monthly payment over to Department of IT for our internet and communication services. And then, of course, we had the monthly rent for like the copier and the postage machine as well. So most of these are your fairly typical expenditures that you guys will see on a month-to-month basis. The audit, this of course was the progress payment. So now that the audit report is released and once we receive the final invoice, we will get to pay out the remainder of that contract. And then, so you'll see one more payment on it, and then you won't see that one again for the rest of the year. You'll see it next year when we have the next audit done. Any questions about current expenses? So this one, and I'm sorry, I know it's a little difficult to read because there's a lot of information on here, but I wanted to not only give you, here was the current month expenses, but now here's where we are year to date. So this is what we've spent in each of those categories. So of course it breaks it out by the 200 category, which is again our salary expense. The 300 category, which is contractual, which right now the only contract that we've paid out is for audit services. I do know that we have payments pending right now for the gentleman that services the website. And then we may have some other payments that are still also in the process of being approved that will go into the 300 category. And then of course the 400 category, this is again, kind of just where we're at for those other costs, which again is, this is going to be those monthly Department of IT internet fees, and then also the monthly rent of equipment for the copier and the postage machine. And then you guys pay Expo New Mexico quarterly for rent of the building. So that's why you'll see that $3,699 every 3 months. So any questions there? And if not, I will give it back over to Acting Director Gaines.
Thank you, CFO, Lisa, Janet. Want to talk a little bit now about the Youth Leadership Conference. On mine, it has all 4 numbers, y'all. I don't know. The Youth Leadership Conference, we normally do close to the end of the year. So of course, this year we're looking to do it June 26th through the 28th. I've already kind of told you what we do at that conference. We normally have about 30 to 40 volunteers. And of course, our goal is to have around 125 youth. I do know some of our community has committed already to making sure that we reach that number. across the state, from some of our NAACPs to some of our, faith-based organizations. So thank them for being willing to help us with that. So these prices that I have here for the commission are, the prices concerning the hotel, what it would take to have it at these three hotels. And of course, according to the state, anything over a certain amount, you have to get three quotes. These are my three quotes. And so, of course, I want 29,000 is for the roaming. It does not include tax service charge or fees. The total number, for the Sheraton would be 49,850. So right around 50,000, to be able to do the, youth conference at that whole particular hotel. That is my preference hotel, for other, more than just, the price. Also, we've been being there for years. The security is a little better in terms of having kids. It's more of a controlled environment. And so for me personally, and as well as, some of those volunteers and parents, that work with me, that location is a little better. So I wanted to make sure that I brought this to you all's attention, because, we're gonna have to make sure we get that contract signed, here shortly to secure that location.
So, acting director,
Yes.
I got a question. I'm looking at the information that's on the screen. And then I'm looking at the information that's in my hard copy. They say in the Sheraton Airport Hotel, it looks like 29.
Just for the room, for the roaming, but the total for roaming and the food is 49,850.
Okay,
Mhm.
and then the Embassy Suites,
That's for-
93
Mhm.
is for the room.
That's for everything. Yeah.
And then the Embassy Suites down here, 93,000.
93030.83, and then for the Uptown Marriott 65,800. Mhm.
Okay.
Questions about the youth conference?
Yes, I don't have a question. I just want to highlight that I've been able to lead sessions there over the past 5 years. And so I just encourage all the commissioners to attend because it's a really great event. And so many of our Black students are the only one in their classrooms. And this is such an empowering experience for them to be in a space where they're seeing all the other Black kids and brown kids from across the state together. So I think like for folks in real estate, it might be cool to talk about what does it mean to build your own Black community. I think we can be really creative with all of our different expertise to help.
Thank you, Commissioner Stone.
And Vice Chair, did you have something?
No, I was kind of thinking about the amount of rooms. Is it 125? Would each kid share a room or do they have,
Yes, so the way it works, we normally, I normally get 50 rooms. And there is 3 to 4 students in a room. And so we also have rooms for the commissioners. We also have rooms for the chaperones, and we also have the rooms for the participants.
And so acting director, you will be seeking approval from the commissioners on this?
I am seeking approval from the commission on this, so.
So it looks like that'll come up on item looks like item 12, probably funding request approvals and authority. So this will come up again for action. And your recommendation will be that we approve the Sheraton Airport Hotel.
Yes, that is my recommendation.
So commissioners, since that is over the authority that we have given the acting executive director, that will be an action item, require a motion and approval and discussion and all that. So just know that's coming up later. Thank you, Madam Acting Executive Director. You can.
Thank you.
Okay.
Our next is commissioner emails and business cards. I just want everyone to know that all of the emails for the commissioners have been done. So they will be your first name dot your last name at mlkjrc.gov. I gave an example up on here, Chair asked specifically for his be little v dot west. That is what it is. You have to log into the outlook.com/state.nm.us in order, for your email to become active. There is a password that is required. So there is a phone number. I just spoke with them this morning. So there's a phone number that I will be giving you all, to reach out to them so they can give you your own individual password. And then once you use that the first time, you will have access, you should have access to your, emails. Okay. I also want to let you all know that there's a cost for that. And that is $1,500 for the year because, the emails are, they are monthly charge. And so, for the year, it's right around $1,500 for the year. So I did want to let you all know that. And then the next thing, because I know both of these things have been requests, from the commission, both emails and business cards. I know some have already, purchased some. But I want to say that if you would like for the commission to get your cards, we're more than welcome to do that. What I talked to the chair about is want to know how do you all want how do you want it done? Because of course, on the regular email, business cards, it has the email, the address, the phone numbers, and those things. So as commissioners, I don't know if you want just your name and your email and a phone number or your phone number at all. If you want the MLK Commission address on your business cards, that's something that I would need to know. Once you all let me know that, I can get those ordered as soon as Monday. So if you all let me know that by end of day today, then I can get that process going.
Thank you, Madam Acting Director. And just to let folks know, in case they wondering why the commissioners need business cards, as Bishop Cooper has said, it'd be malfeasance, I think is the word he used. He said, if we don't try to pursue the money from the legislators. Well, one of the ways we're gonna do it is we're going down there to that legislature that's in session, and we're gonna shove our business cards in front of them and say, members of the Appropriation Committee, leader of the House and leader of the Senate, the commission can't do our work without money. That's one of the primary reasons why we need those cards, is so they can reach back out to us and stay in touch with us. And I think it'd be malfeasance if we don't have a way for them to know how to get back in touch with us. And so we got to make those contacts and be able to stay in touch with the people who can fund the commission. So that's one of the reasons why we need to do that. We don't want to be writing our phone number or email addresses down on the back of their hands. So we're gonna be prepared when we get there. And so anyway,
Thank you, Chair, for that.
thank you.
Director Gaines?
Yes,
I just had a question.
yeah.
On the card, will it have like the states?
On the official state
Yes, ma'am.
business cards, they will have the official embossed state logo.
Okay. And then with is Do It a vendor like that provides telecommunications for like the state? Is it just for our office?
For the state.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
And then I also want to add to that I did not put a price on the business cards because I needed to find out exactly what the commission wanted, but there will be a charge for that based on the quantity. They come in quantities of 500 and 1,000.
And do you want us to email you that information?
That would be great, and then I can just put it all together on one email to send to them for proofing. And then I'll send it back to the commission for proofing to make sure your emails, your name and everything that you want on there is correct. And then once you send it back as approved, I will send it up and get the process going.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Bethune.
Now that we have the emails coming in through the Outlook, will it now be shared folders for all the commissioners to come together and work?
Yes, sir, we can get that set up. I did talk with Do It about that. So we was first, I was trying to make sure you all had the emails because that was their first request. and the business cards. So I will make sure that we get that set up. We started working on it, so there's just a few more things and we should be ready to go.
I
Yes,
do have a
ma'am.
question.
Commissioner.
Director Gaines. For the URL, outlook.com and state.nm.us, I believe it's changed that URL to .gov, so I wasn't sure.
Now, the email that they sent me said .us, but I can double check that, and just make sure, that it's not .gov. You're welcome. Any other questions concerning the commissioner's emails and business cards? Yes, sir.
Did you want us to wait till the item 12 to approve the 1,500, or did you want us to go with the motion now?
If I may, I don't think it's necessary that we do it because we've given the acting director the authority to approve be up to and beyond that amount.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions concerning that? Okay. Emails, websites, and social media report. I wanted to add this in, because, one of, our commissioners who was so kind, to reach out to me about it, one had just asked a question about, that track as it pertains to social media and websites. I do want to say that our webmaster, who is Mind's Eye, Asher Barrett, he does our website. He is also in the process of getting ready to redo the website for us. The website has definitely picked up traction since October. And of course, you all can see some of the numbers here as it pertains to the unique visitors, the number of visits, pages, hits, and bandwidth. And then you can see the monthly history for 2025. One of the other things is that I also spoke with the webmaster in regards to our social media platform, saying that I am the only staff member in the office right now. I do not have time to do the social media because that takes a lot of time. If you all don't know, it takes quite a bit of time. So I'm going to be meeting with him next week, so that I can see if I can add the social media part to his contract for what he's already doing. With that being said, as soon as I find out, I will let you know. He already said, yeah, this is a young man who has been doing our website as a volunteer for at least 7 years. And so because he loves the MLK Commission and what it does, he was just doing it. We now have him under contract. And so he is now under contract to do our website. And so next week I will speak with him and we will work on the social media platforms so that we can be able to be more visible with all of the things that we do, all the posts that we want to send out. Yes.
Director Gaines.
Yes.
This is a very good data analytics, and especially for evidence-based programming. This would be very good for the legislature to see the engagement from our community. So
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Commissioner. Thank you. Any other questions?
thank you for getting us.
You're welcome. The next one is just a monthly history for 2024. So I'm not gonna go through it, but you all can see it from January 2024 up until December. And it tells you the unique visitors. It tells you the number of visits, the pages, the hits, and bandwidth. One of the things that me and the webmaster did talk about is how we can engage more people to the website. So that's some of the conversations that we will be having next week as well. And so to the commissioners, if you have any questions or anything you would like to share or add to that, please let me know so that I can, make sure in my meeting with him that I can make sure he answers them. Any questions? Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to office staffing. And due to the fact that we do not have another FTE, which is in state lingo, full-time staff member, per the resource received from, the resource that was received from our commissioner, Dr. Mella. I was able to reach out to the wage subsidy program. And of course, the New Mexico Wage Subsidy Program is an opportunity for an NM Works TANF cash assistance participate to obtain limited paid employment instead of receiving monthly cashly payments. This is a full-time, a 40-hour a week for a 12-month span. I did get an opportunity to speak with Miss Miller, Estrella Miller, and so I've already filled out the paperwork for it. And so she's out of the office right now, but we are supposed to be looking, into that in terms of, office staffing. So I wanted you all to, to know that. Thank you, Commissioner, Dr. Mella, for that, resource. And so she was excited to work with the commission. And so we are excited to work with her.
Dr. Gaines, or,
Yes.
Director Gaines?
Yes.
Is it one position, two position? Do you know kind of what the options you may have?
Yes, yes, Commissioner. When I spoke with her, it's two positions. The administrative assistant, position and the coordinator position. So those are the two that she's going to be looking for, to see what qualified, applicants she may have. Any other questions?
I gotta go, but I came for one reason, to answer quick. When are they gonna make you director? It seemed like to me that it's been a long time, you've been acting director, and you've been doing everything. I think you should be considered to be the director, and I think they ought to stop jerking around about it. So, if you give me an answer, I appreciate it.
Yes.
Sure. You want
So, we'll consider that, public comment and we'll take it on the advisement as such. But, just so you know, the, executive director search process is underway and the application process is open. And so everybody understands, we actually have that a little bit further on the agenda. And I understand you have to go now, but I want to be transparent with you since you are interested to know, and I don't want you to be left out. So, but when we come to that item on the agenda, I expect that, well, that process has just opened earlier this week. And so folks by law are going to be allowed to submit their application to be executive director. So in a nutshell, and I know you have to go and we have to stay on the item that we're on the agenda.
I understand that,
Hey.
but I just want to make sure I got that in there.
Okay, thank you, Reverend. Appreciate your comment. Yeah, and take care. So we're back on to the actual item of the agenda that we're on.
Yes, sir.
And you're back to your presentation, which I had a question on.
Okay,
What had to do with AmeriCorps.
okay.
And because you had mentioned to me, and I wanted you to share with the other commissioners that there might be an AmeriCorps volunteer possibility for some help in the office.
Yes, sir. I did reach out to AmeriCorps, and there may be, a potential volunteer opportunity from them as well. I am waiting to, hear back from them. The wage subsidy program was a little more vigilant in getting back to me. And so I am waiting, for AmeriCorps, but I did reach out to both of them. We have a community question.
Oh,
I don't know, commissioners, I don't know if you all are able to do so. But UNM has a program where you could possibly obtain an intern from UNM, and UNM pays for it. So you get 10 hours a week during the semester and 20 hours a week during the summer program. So that might be something else you might be able to look into, because we are using interns from UNM as at the chamber as well. And I could share that information with you.
thank you. That's a good word, and we needed to know about that, and we appreciate you sharing it. So it can be good to take public comment out of turn. So thank you for that. All right, and
Yes, sir.
yes, ma'am.
CFO training. For those of you all who may not know, Ms. Lisa Jennings, is a CFO with the Division of Finance and Administration. She has been assigned, to the MLK Commission to work with me on fiscal matters. And so she has been working with me since October. So she comes in once a week to make sure that we are, working on any fiscal things we might need. Also want to let you know in terms of trainings that I have been participating in. I have been participating in Travel 101, Purchasing, Basic Accounting, CFO trainings with the Division of Finance and Administrative Staff, the CFO meetings that are bi-weekly with the Director, Mark Malhoff and his staff. And basically that meeting is to make sure that MLK, the commission is good, and if there's anything that is needed and how they can be of service to us. Also the ACFA training with Kasum. And then of course, they have monthly trainings every month that I will continue to make sure that I am participating in. Miss Lisa, do you want to talk a little bit about the legislation and the budget stacks?
Thank you, Acting Director Gaines. So right now, as of yesterday, I have not seen any FIR requests to MLK Commission regarding any legislation that was going to potentially impact you guys so that we can provide input back regarding any costs or any impacts that we believe that would have on the commission itself. And then we do appreciate the public comment regarding the budget recommendations. We have done an evaluation between the two recommendations, between the executive recommendation and the LFC rec. We will be going before legislature next week for our scheduled budget hearing to make our plea for the additional funds. So, the one recommendation is not set in stone yet, but so we do still have a chance to go plead our case and try to get at least some kind of compromise in there. I'm sure we won't get the full recommendation, but maybe we can get something else. But again, we have to go before legislature and actually have that meeting with them and see if they will, be gracious and give us a little bit more, but we don't know until we try. So, and that will be next week sometime. So, hopefully, unless it gets rescheduled, by the time we have this next meeting, we'll have a better idea of what the budget actually looks like for next fiscal year. And in the meantime, we continue to do everything, our regular day-to-day operations, and next year we can put in the request and try again.
Thank you, Mobile CFO, Lisa. Are there any questions? No.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Executive Director. I just want to know, what does it look like when we plea our case? Because that 101,000 is such a big difference than what the LFC recommended. So I wanted to know, especially towards what the public comment was saying earlier about rolling up our sleeves. I just want to know, what does that look like?
So normally when we go before the budget, the LFC for budget hearings, based on what we have received as of yesterday, they want to know what will happen if you don't receive the money. What things you have listed or planned that will not happen if you don't get the money. And then also what will happen moving forward in terms of your programming that will happen in the event that you do receive the full 101,000. When we had our meeting, I don't know if it was last month or month before the commission, we all voted upon that. So that's what we put in.
Okay. And with all the events that I'm assuming you're highlighting those events that you plan on having?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, and that's one of the other things they mentioned, that we definitely make sure that we highlight the different events and across the state. Because it's very important that we show that piece too, that we are in 32 counties, that we are in 12 counties, we're in 15 counties, and so that they can be able to see the increase in the growth of MLK in the different counties.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
If I may, Chairman?
Go ahead.
to expand on that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Chairman and, for the minutes, and just to the public, what that entails, is looking at who's in charge of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, who are the representatives and leaders in that committee, finding out their names, calling them, finding out where they're gonna be at, see if they're gonna be at. Excuse me?
I think we have someone online who is unmuted.
Okay. So I'll continue. Finding out what event they're gonna be at, and that is Democrat and Republican, regardless of what we see in the media. They do work together behind closed doors. So going to see them, regardless of what their party affiliation is, they have say so in how much money we get. So talking to them nicely is appropriate, and letting them know what can happen and what we can do when we work together. So I think that may answer some of the other questions. Also, going to this legislative day at, what is it saying, 1:30? For us, CPT, we need to be there at 1 o'clock. Talking to whoever's in the room at 3:15, saying, we are advocating for MLK Jr. and we are advocating for all the fans of Beverly Gaines. We're advocating for her as well. If that answers your question, sir.
Yes, thank you.
And then I would also just like to add to that, because he was talking about the 1:30 and 1 o'clock. Sometimes they can be early, or sometimes they can be late. Most of the time it's a little later. So for those who are planning to attend, we always say just get there early. You have the opportunity to speak to different representatives to be able to plead your case.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments? Questions? Yes.
Just upon clarification, to your point, the schedule always changes.
Always.
Yeah, so you want to keep.
Always
Keep checking the website. Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll say, we're gonna meet 15 minutes after the flow session. And the flow session is very unpredictable. They'll be going, and the legislators are speaking to a point of personal privilege and so anyway, they think the floor session is gonna end at 12 and it ends at 2. And so therefore, a meeting that you thought was gonna end it started at 12:30 and it starts at 2:30 or 2:45. And so basically you just have to be there. But you have opportunities to talk to the legislators even during a floor session. The business cards help with that. So you can take your business card, send it to a legislator through the sergeant at arms, and they'll say, oh, this is someone who's on the King Commission. They'll come talk to you because of that. And so you have opportunities. We'll get to that and talk to that more when we form our legislative, hopefully, advocacy committee. Maybe you'll be interested to be on it. We'll talk more. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
Anything else? Any other questions? Last thing for my report, the memorial for Dr. Harold Bailey is scheduled for Monday, February 11th and the 12th at Daniel's Funeral Home, and time will be announced at a later time. Are there any other questions?
Yes, so in regards to Dr. Harold Bailey, I did not know him as well as a lot of people who are probably online or in this room, so let me put that. But I did go last night to an event to campaign for MLK Jr. And one of the things that stood out was some of the people who grew up with him. And this woman was really up there in age, in her 80s, said to me that the NAACP is not his legacy. That's where he ended up at. His legacy started with him training children in sports really, really early. Who was this? I don't know if I should be at liberty to discuss who that was in particular. Who's Asa? See, I didn't even know that. So whatever that case is, thank you very much for that point. They say if you hear something in public, please mention to talk about all of his early years that got him to the point where he is now. Well, before now. But y'all know what I mean.
Any other questions? Thank you, Commissioner, for that information. Anything else? I stand. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Madam Acting Executive Director. We really appreciate your report. It sounds like there's no other questions on it, so we'll move forward, march forward to our next item on our agenda. Item 11A. So this item is appointment of the new date MLK committee, the strategic planning committee appointment. And before we get to the motion on this, I have a few things to say. So this is bring y'all up to speed. There's a little history to this that gets us here. So I have, had the honor to help represent the commission over the recent King holiday as chair of the commission. And in that role, I have shared my vision, of the commission working directly with the community to chart a path forward for how this commission can better serve the community. And that's why this commission was created 34 years ago, back in 1991. In fact, that's why every part of state government was created. It's why state government itself was created. It's why government was created, to serve the people. If we can never lose sight of that. And I know from my conversations with many people from over this weekend that they have not forgotten that, including, some of the faith leaders and the community leaders, and community members who helped form this commission. Then were some of the people who first served on this commission. They shared with me that some of their disappointments that this commission has fallen by the wayside from some of the original intentions that, from those, that they had when they first served on it. They told me that the commission has such great goals about all the great things and the plans and the many programs by the dozens per year, that the scores, they said, so many per year that they wanted the commission to do to serve the community, but those plans have withered down to, from their perspective, a relative few. And they're telling me about this during the events that we were doing this weekend. So, but it was an honor to talk to them. And I'm so proud, and I think we should be so appreciative of all these folks that worked so hard to establish this commission from the get-go at the beginning. Because if it hadn't been for them, we wouldn't have anything to work with today. And their hard work and their intentions and their expectations and even their disappointments, they matter. And they need to be honored. So, that's part of what motivates me. So, Bishop Cooper, he has come directly to this commission, and he has shared his disappointments also with me and with this commission on several occasions. And during the 6 months period of time, recent, during last year, when the commission could not essentially function or get a quorum last year, he came here multiple times and he asked, where are the other commissioners? But, we're now in a new day at MLK, and we have new leadership, and we have new officers of the commission, and we have new commissioners seated, and even though they're volunteers and they're not being paid for their service, they're here fully vested in their service to the state. They are showing up to monthly meetings, long meetings, taking care of business, housekeeping, paying attention to all the details, dollars and cents, audits, all the things, making sure that nothing falls through the cracks. They are putting in the time, committed to seeing the work done, fully committed to working with the community. And we've seen the community here. We've seen them in person. We've seen them online. ready to work with the community. And I have witnessed their hard work and dedication, you know, and I really feel like they should be recognized for it. I want them to know, as chair, I appreciate all of your hard work. I really do. Thank you for what you're doing. Well, anyway, I distinctly remember telling Bishop Cooper last June during one of those quorumless meetings that I wanted the community to have the greater voice in telling this commission what the community wanted this commission to be doing to better serve the community. That promise brings us to today and to this motion. And I set before all of you, commissioners and community, a blank piece of paper, and along with it, endless possibilities and ultimate flexibility. Where there's no map, there's no moving. Without a plan, you're likely to get lost and you're going to probably go around in circles. And if we've been looking around, we can probably know that when it comes to social and community justice, nonviolence, economic justice, civil rights, brotherly and sisterly love, it's no time for going around in circles. To the extent this commission has fallen to the wayside in the past 34 years, today represents an opportunity for all of us to take an initial step, to take a community-centered course correction for the commission. So, how could we accomplish that? I'm proposing the following motion, which brings a three-step process for allowing a community advisory committee to advise a strategic planning committee of the commission to help us chart a path forward. Step one, to appoint a strategic planning committee of commissioners consisting of Secretary Adoni Rothini, Vice Chair Constance Williams, PRC Chair O'Connell or his designee, Member McLee Carroll, Commissioner Brandy Stone, Commissioner Carolyn Traub, Committee Chair, and myself, ex officio, to receive community advice and comment on how the commission can and should better serve the public of the state of New Mexico, to better meet its mission and statutory duties over the next 3 to 5 years, and to return to the commission a strategic action plan for accomplishing these goals based primarily on that community input and other relevant information and considerations, including but not limited to input received from the commission staff not later than July 31st, 2025. And step two, to empower the Strategic Planning Committee to recommend to the full commission an advisory committee of community members, the New Day at MLK Advisory Committee, to serve in an advisory role to the Strategic Planning Committee. And step three, to authorize a statement of interest in a form approved by the acting director to be issued in both physical form and online, ASAP, statewide, to any community members who are interested to serve in the role of volunteer member of the New Day at MLK Advisory Committee, so that the Strategic Planning Committee can begin receiving the contact and other relevant initial information about qualifications of potential members of the advisory committee who may be interested to apply to serve. I so move. Is there a second?
Second.
Right. It's been moved by the chair and seconded by Member Carroll that we proceed as stated. Is there discussion? Commissioner Traub.
When I first spoke to you the other day, one of my first questions was, do you have a strategic plan? And the answer was no. And my next question was, how do you know what your goals are? What are you trying to accomplish? And so we had a little bit more conversation about it. And it starts off with getting the community involved, hearing what their needs are, a short-term plan, and then we have a longer vision from there, and then we know what we're going for. So I feel very strongly about the strategic plan. And again, I think it's very difficult to have a commission and not know what your actual goals are and what you're trying to accomplish. So I feel very positive that this is coming about.
Thank you, Commissioner Traub. Further discussion? Oh, Commissioner Stone.
That was so much information. I was trying to get your step 1, step 2, step 3.
I can repeat
So
it.
your the community advisory committee is only advising the strategic plan.
That's right.
That is it.
It would be essentially, Commissioner Stone, that the community members, the New Day at MLK Advisory Committee, will be advising the Strategic Planning Committee. And then the Strategic Planning Committee is charged from that to return a plan to the commission. And my
We're back.
We're back.
You're back and you can be heard.
We're back and we can be heard.
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, in that case, we will call our meeting back to order. We took a recess, everyone, during the time that we lost internet access. And so we deeply apologize to everyone who was online, but we lost Wi-Fi here. And during that time, I call a recess of our in-person portion of this meeting because we were so sorry that we lost everyone online. But it's time that we lost. So we'll call our meeting back to order. And we're back to our meeting now, since we have everyone online. Is that right? Looks like we're back.
We're back in recording.
We're back in recording and back online. Okay, so thanks for everybody's patience as we dealt with that brief technical issue. Commissioner Stone had just asked me a question about how the advisory committee would work, if it would work exclusively with the strategic planning committee, and answering. Yeah.
Because we see a lot of advisory committees take place in our community that don't actually, and what they think they're signing up for is not actually what they're. So I just want to be very clear. The advisory committee, if you're interested in that, is only going to be supporting the strategic planning. It is not to be an advisory of the full, like, what exactly is it? So everybody knows very clearly.
Yeah, I think that is right. In the way that I have presented this motion, Commissioner, the advisory committee is to advise the strategic planning committee. But the way that I presented this motion, I have asked Commissioner Traub to be the chair of that committee, and she does have experience doing strategic planning. And I have committed this to the strategic planning committee to figure out how exactly this process would work. So I think we should hear from the proposed chair of that committee, Commissioner Traub.
First off, I want to ask everybody a question. How many pages do you think a strategic plan is? Just guess.
I'm going to let you take it, Commissioner Traub, because you know better.
So I think when we're talking about the question that you were asking is the easiest way to do it is actually to get out to the community and get a survey out and get as much information. To take a small group of people in the community, 8, 10 people, to give us their opinion is not going to get us very far. So the more difficult part, in my opinion, it would be just getting a survey out to as many people as possible so we can look at that data as the strategic planning committee and come back to you, to all the commissioners with a proposed.
And we're back. Okay, we're back online, Deputy Attorney General? Yep. How about recording there, Member Anaya?
Yes, it's still recording.
Still recording. Thank you for that confirmation. Okay, so we'll end our recess and be back to our meeting, and we'll extend another apology. I don't know why we don't have a stable internet connection, but we'll proceed as best we can this afternoon. And where we left off is proposed committee chair Traub was sharing her experiences and her ideas with sending out a survey statewide, which I think is a fantastic idea, just to get as much input as we can from the community. Please share more wisdom with us.
Mr. Stone and I were just talking, and we both kind of agree that maybe the motion should be changed a little bit. Instead of having multiple committees, if we have our strategic planning committee, start there and then get that survey out. I feel like we're doubling up the work by having multiple committees. I don't think we need, I think we need the strategic planning committee, and then they will get the survey out statewide, and then we can take that data and create the plan.
Commissioner Stone?
I just want to add, I'm concerned about doubly taxing our community to maybe not actually have work that they can really do, because we as a strategic planning committee haven't even talked about how we envision seeing a strategic plan taking place, or how we envision seeing the activity. I want to be clear, I am not saying that I don't want our community involved. I think that there's another way that we can have a community advisory type of process. I just think that we need to take one step back, figure out what exactly does our bylaws say, what are the key areas we want to hit on in a strategic plan, and then how do we engage our community to help us build that out? Is that volunteers for surveys? Is that we want to host focus groups and we want them to help us lead that? I think there's so many different ways we can do so.
Okay, and I'm willing to yield to Bose. I want to say this. Both Commissioner Traub and Commissioner Stone have more experience with strategic planning than I do. And I do not have all the answers. And that's why I'm seeking, as I said, the wisdom, judgment, and experience of anybody and everybody who's willing to give it to me. And I have often said, give me all the advice that I don't ask for. And that's what they're doing. That's great. So by all means, tell me the best way to do this. And I'm absolutely willing to amend this motion. And we're going to get a great motion out of it because you both have great ideas. So Commissioner Traub.
I want to kind of break it down just a different way to think about it. So when I was president of our association, we created a strategic planning committee within, you know, our commissioners, our president, and whatnot. And then we had surveys that went out to our members, right? Our members here are the state. So what you're saying, we're saying the same thing. So we need to figure out, I think amend it, get the strategic planning committee in place, and then decide how we're going, you know, town halls or how we're gonna get that data and then bring it back.
Okay, so how about this? How about if, okay, can I say something and then I'm gonna go right straight to you? If I take out, because I do want the community to have a voice and I want the strategic planning committee to hear it. And I like this idea about town halls, because then I know that the community will have a way for you all to hear what they have to say. And I want this commission to hear what it is that they want us to do. So if I take out of here the idea of a, you know, advisory committee based off your recommendation, which again is based off both of your experiences, based off strategic planning. If I take that out, and then I commit to the strategic planning committee that they will have town halls to receive community input, is that an improvement? It's an improvement, yeah. Oh, all right, well, we're gonna come back, all right, we're gonna see, we're moving the ball forward. Let me go, Commissioner Trot first to Commissioner Rothini and then back to you. Commissioner Rothini.
I do not want to speak before Commissioner Trump, so please.
Okay, Commissioner Trot.
One of my thoughts was, and I don't know if you're open to this idea, I think that we both have this experience and we are trying to accomplish such a big item. Maybe having co-chairs would be a much better idea, we have two chairs that we can be handling all this together. But I don't know if that's.
Co-chairs. I think that is an excellent amendment to my motion. That's the best amendment that was stated today. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Commissioner Rothini.
First, draft, because that was gonna be what I was gonna say. So I'm with that. And I hear your concerns. And I am wondering if it needs to be like a multifaceted approach, because no offense to my people, I love my people, but we don't do surveys very well. I don't know if surveys are gonna work. And my other concern is, being at UNM and CNN, there's always these things that go on at these campuses, but nobody shows up unless there's food. It's one of those drivers. And is there gonna be a budget set aside for said town halls? And third, the community, when presented at the Civic Plaza, were excited at the potentiality that there was gonna be an advisory committee, because some members of the community do feel they are shut out. And what I don't want to miss is the momentum that has been grabbing here that said, hey, we are back, we're better than ever, and we want your help continuously building. So what I'm wondering, how do we shape those considerations with your two co-chairs? I'm done. I'm questioning both of you. I'm just intrigued, because I love the information. I'm just intrigued.
I don't know the answer to this question. I'm kind of asking, but couldn't you have a commissioners on the strategic planning committee and community members on the strategic planning committee?
Unfortunately, I don't think we can legally do it, but I'm going to defer to the Deputy Attorney General to answer that, but I'm going to tell you my answer, why I think you can't do it, unfortunately. And I think the answer why we can't do it is because we're a public agency, and we're public officials. And I think if we tried to put non-public officials on a actual committee of the commission, then I think we've gone too far. Deputy Attorney General.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have this commission, public officials, you can make a subcommittee, and we're gonna actually go over this in a little bit, but you can make a subcommittee. If they're making policy, then that would be another policy-making body, then it would be subject to the Open Meetings Act and transparency and minutes and posting and notices. And you'd have to do everything that we do for this body, for that body, and then and so on, so on. So it just becomes a little bit more rigorous, whereas you can designate specific subcommittees or bodies to make recommendations to you all, and then you can adopt those recommendations after they present them to you. And then that way the subcommittee doesn't have to be this whole additional open transparency agency separate from this one, if that makes any sense to everyone.
See, Deputy Attorney General, the reason, in my mind, how I was trying to make sure that the commissioners could work with the members of the public in a way that didn't have us appointing commissioners in a way that we couldn't do it, right? Because only the governor and the legislative leadership can appoint actual commissioners, is to create this advisory committee. And so that's why I came up with the idea of an advisory committee, so that we don't break the law. And so if I have a hybrid committee of commissioners and members of the public, I was concerned that it might be illegal because we're trying to create commissioners when we can only have 13. That was my legal concern. And so I said, well, the way we'll do it is we'll have an advisory committee to serve in an advisory role. And in that way, we know we have a way to have community input. And so, there is, in my mind, there was some reason to have some concern legally. But as I say, I defer to you as commission counsel.
Only the appointed members of this board can actually take any real policy-making actions. You've all been designated with that power and ability. Again, you can have people participate, provide recommendations, advisory, and you can structure that in a lot of different ways. But anything that's a final decision or a final action is just the decision of the members of this commission.
Vice Chair.
Are we still online? That's.
Uh-oh, the screen went black.
We're online, Chairman.
Okay, thank you for that confirmation. Okay, our projector screen went dark and I was afraid that we had lost everyone. So I'm glad to know that you all are still there. Commissioner Traub, okay.
I like the idea of a subcommittee because I feel like if we have multiple committees, these two committees trying to communicate, getting everybody together, who's going to be running that committee? I like the idea of the subcommittee and working with commissioners.
Okay, so here's what I think we should do. And I think it will streamline our discussion for today. And I think it will commit to the Strategic Planning Committee to do essentially as they see fit and to take such actions as they deem necessary. So here's the proposed revision that I have made to my own motion based off the way the discussion is going today. Instead of a 3-step motion, a 1-step motion. Eliminate step 2 and 3. And instead of 1 chair, 2 co-chairs, as we have discussed. And basically, to add to the end of step 1, we're gonna and to empower the Strategic Planning Committee to take such other. This is a legal special right here. This is something that lawyers often write at the end of their motions. When we want something from the judge, we ask the judge to take such other and further actions as the court shall deem necessary and proper. And so I would just add to the end of the motion is that we will ask the strategic planning committee, we would empower them to take such other and further steps as they shall deem necessary and proper. In other words, we trust you. Do what you want. If you think that you need, to have some advisory members on your committee, you can work with advisory members. To do whatever y'all need to do to put together that strategic plan, you can do it.
Chairman?
Member Anaya.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Can you just maybe make it a little more clear exactly what your motion is? The shortened
Okay.
version?
The shortened version, but first, I can do that. But first, Member Anaya, unless you have an objection, I wanted to recognize Commissioner Traub.
That is fine, thank you.
Okay, she said to read out the revised motion. Right?
Sure.
The short version, okay. Step one, the only step. The motion is to appoint a strategic planning committee of commissioners consisting of Secretary Adoni Rothini, Vice Chair Constance Williams, PRC Chair O'Connell or his designee, Member McLeod Carroll, Commissioner Brandon Stone, Committee Co-Chair, Commissioner Carolyn Traub, Committee Co-Chair, and myself, ex officio, to receive community advice and comment on how the commission can and should better serve the public of the state of New Mexico and meet its mission and statutory duties over the next 3 to 5 years, and return to the commission a strategic action plan for accomplishing those goals based primarily on that community input and other relevant information and considerations, including but not limited to input received from the commission staff, not later than July 31st, 2025, and to empower the Strategic Planning Committee to take such other and further steps as they shall deem necessary and proper. Secretary Rothini.
So my question is, because really with I'm rocking with it, my question is, what if there's a commissioner that feels left out and they want to be on this strategic planning committee?
Well, so all I can say about that is, for past few months, I don't want anybody to feel left out. I have asked, for volunteers to be on this committee and solicited volunteers, and that's how this list was formed. And I can ask, is there anybody else that wants to be on it? So the difficulty is it would impose some measure of administrative burden on the committee, because as soon as a seventh commissioner joins, it makes a quorum of the commission. So the six is a special number. 6 is a special committee number. Commissioner Stone, I'm sorry, Commissioner, don't mind me screaming at me.
Black History Month.
Yes.
So it is likely that we have so many commitments as community members ourselves that we cannot put a lot of time to the planning. June is Juneteenth and the Youth Leadership Conference. So that basically removes 1.5, 2 months out of your 5 months for us to deliver, which is really, we have 3 months to work this to hit the whole state of 33 or 15 counties. And so I'm just asking that you consider, I understand that we have a fiscal year that you're likely wanting to roll it out with the line fiscal year. I think we just need to move a little bit slower to be intentional. And I just want to put out there again, I am not trying to remove community members from our process. I want to do it right and hit all the intersections of our community.
So Commissioner Stone, what I will say is, you know, I would say this, maybe there's a way to, if we're not going to have meetings during those times, maybe the committee can decide to send out surveys during those times. So that there's maybe less of a more active way to receive the information during those times. But I think that the July 31st deadline is important for a couple reasons. Here's some strategy to the deadline. Number one, the strategic action plan is very important. Once we get that back, and the community does give us some comments back, it's likely that some of what they tell us is within the scope of our statutory power. We're not empowered to do everything, right? This is our duties of the commission. So probably some of what they tell us fits within it. Maybe some of what they tell us does not. And so we're gonna have to sort. And when we do our work as a committee, we're gonna have to say this much fits within, we're good. This much does not. So much that does not, maybe it fits within the scope of what's within another agency. And then some of it may not fit within what's in another agency, and it fits well within what we think could work for us. We may have to ask the legislature to expand what's here. And that becomes part of our strategic action plan. And then we have to have a bill that asks the legislature to expand our scope. Along with that, we may have to ask for increase with funding, because we can't take on more responsibility without more funding to accomplish it. Then it becomes part of our legislative advocacy plan and our budget request for the next year, which we have to submit by September. That's right. So it affects, I think it is important that we try to accomplish this within the deadline stated, because it affects other deadlines down the line. So
Chairman?
as a committee, Member Anaya, did I forget to recognize you? I'm sorry about that.
No, I just, if I raise my head, I don't know if anyone can see, but when you're done, can I have a moment?
Absolutely. You asked for that before. I forgot to recognize you. I can't see your hand because our projector went dark.
Right.
And I promised to recognize you, and I deeply regret that and apologize. You are recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. I just have a question and maybe another follow-up, but the commission members that you mentioned all volunteered for this committee, correct?
Yes.
Okay, is it possible for us to get back on track and at least have a motion to vote on, to at least form the committee that everybody volunteered for, and then we can discuss how that committee will work and when you guys will meet at another time?
The motion is already on the table and has been moved and seconded to form this committee.
Okay.
And yeah, that is the motion that's on the floor. And we are discussing that motion. So
I apologize, Chairman. It just
Yeah.
sounds like we're getting into like the details that the committee, once they meet, will finally decide what they're going to do moving forward.
Yeah, you're probably right. So that being the case, I'll ask if there's any other discussion on the motion. And if not, we can go ahead and vote on the motion. The motion is there to form the committee and allow it to do what it needs to do to proceed with the strategic action plan. Commissioner Rotini.
Sure, I'm correct. So there is no more amendments to the three-step motion.
No, 2 steps have been removed. There's only 1-step motion.
One step,
Right.
and we're gonna stick with the one step, co-chair, and the subcommittee.
If they decide to have a subcommittee, we have allowed them to do that if they so choose.
So we're going straight, 2 co-chairs, strategic planning committee, that's the motion.
Deadline July 31.
Because we want to have everything packed up by August, presented for September.
Correct.
And I think,
Commissioner Traub.
I think the motion could really just be very limited to creating a strategic plan, giving us the ability to have subcommittees, who's gonna be on it, that is all we can.
That's basically what it is now. I mean, please don't make me, I will amend it some more if you want to, but please don't make me. Basically, it says, this is the committee, you have two co-chairs, and y'all can do what you need to do to make a strategic action plan, just get it back to us by July 31st. In a nutshell, it's a paraphrase. But it's just done in my language, in my terms.
I second the motion.
No, that went to, Member Carroll, he seconded it.
Okay.
Yeah, so unless there's any other discussion, hearing none? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, call the roll.
Commissioner Dabney,
My vote is yes.
Commissioner Stone, Commissioner Traub,
Yes.
Commissioner Oscar Robinson. Okay, State Treasurer Designee,
Yes.
Commissioner Member Harold.
Oh my God, it's close.
Yes, I'm gonna get it, brother. I'm gonna get it.
You repeat it now. Repeat his name now.
Parole,
Corolla, yeah.
parole. Oh, like parole, but parole.
Yeah, I get that. Or Corolla. Yeah.
Member Carroll, Commissioner Carroll.
All right. Still haven't heard anything, Oscar Robinson.
I'm sorry, he went somewhere. He's not in the room with me right now.
If you wanna do yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you for letting us know. Well, no, she was just letting us know that he had left, and he had let me know he'd had to leave early, because Commissioner Robinson is not present. So thank you for letting us know that.
You're welcome.
So who did you just call?
Yeah.
I did call Robinson.
Okay, yeah. So we just have him as absent.
Okay. Commissioner Amelia,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice Chair,
Yes.
I am voting yes. Chairman,
Yes.
there is no names. Do you still feel the need to vote?
The bylaws say that all commissioners must vote on the roll call. So I vote yes.
Well,
We just have one not present, right? Because Mr. Robinson.
well, right now, even without Commissioner Robinson, we moved, we motioned, and we ready to go. We rocking out. It carries.
It carries by a vote of,
1, 2, 3, 4, 9.
okay, 9 in favor and none against.
None against, no abstain.
Okay, so thank you for that. Commissioners, I appreciate that discussion, and to the community, I want you to know that I have faith in the Strategic Planning Committee that they will do what we can to hear from you. And that as chair of the commission, I want you to know that I'm committed to making sure that we hear from you as to what the commission can do to better serve the community. All right, so that takes us to the next item on our agenda. So item 11B, I am recognizing Committee Chair Dr. Melia for our committee report.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and Commissioners, you have before you a report from the Executive Director Search Committee containing the following 4 recommendations. The Executive Director Search Committee recommends extending the timeline for the search process from February 11th to February 25th and a screening deadline to February 28th to allow for adequate public notice and attract the most qualified candidates. The committee suggests utilizing hard copy publications and expanding online recruitment portals to reach a broader audience and expand the candidate pool. And we propose amending the MLK bylaws to include a distinction between executive director and acting executive director to allow for more practical and frequent performance appraisals. So these steps are believed to significantly enhance recruitment efforts and ensure the casting of the widest possible reach to find the best candidate for the executive director position. The committee kindly requests that the commissioners consider these recommendations and move forward accordingly. So I move that the commission adopt the following recommendations. 1, extend the application deadline to February 25th. 2, extend the search committee's screening deadline to February 28th. 3, utilize newspapers and other hard copy publications for public notice. 4, expand recruitment efforts to include sharing the posting with the New Mexico DWS or Department of Workforce Solutions, America's Job Centers statewide, and to amend the MLK bylaws to distinguish between executive director and acting executive director. I'm open for questions.
Okay, there's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Vice Chair Williams. Any discussion?
Yes, I have a question. So as far, I, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill Cotton was on the committee for the search for executive director, right?
Yes, correct.
His time has expired. So are we going to move forward without that number, or is that number gonna be replaced?
So, it's something that could be addressed, but is not pertinent to that motion that is on the table at this moment. So we address that later.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just stay focused on the motion that is on the table for the moment. Yeah. We'll come to that next. Member Carroll.
Yes, Commissioner Mello, I just have a question about the publication in hard copies. A couple questions. One, just want to make sure we have a budget for that. And 2, if we're extending the deadline to February 28th, does that fit timeline? I don't know how long it takes to get something published here. I just want to make sure, yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Kroll. I don't believe that some of those hard copy publications will need our, a budget for that, because we have a lot of other publications that are for free. So that might be helpful for us. So, but thank you.
And the timeline of getting it published, if we let them know, like will it happen ASAP kind of thing, or?
Yes.
Okay,
Within 2 weeks.
okay.
But currently it is online with the New Mexico State Personnel Office, as well as the governor's GovX website.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion, questions, comments on this? Hearing none, Secretary to call the roll on the motion.
Commissioner Dabney,
My vote is yes.
yes, fantastic. Commissioner Stone, Commissioner Vice Chair Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Carroll,
Yes, thanks.
Commissioner Amelia.
Yes.
Commissioner Designee Anaya,
Yes.
Commissioner Traub,
Yes.
and we're gonna just call Robinson absent. Is Robinson back in the room?
I will abstain because I don't know the discussion.
Okay, Commissioner Robinson, thank you for checking in with your abstention.
I vote yes. Chairman,
Yes.
Chairman, we have 9 yeas and 1
The
abstention.
motion carries. Secretary Rotini, you had another item or question on this for the committee chair?
Yes, Commissioner Robinson, are you with us?
Say yes again. Say yes again, I didn't hear you.
Commissioner Robinson, I just wanted to restate my question about the Executive Director Search Committee. I'm just asking to make sure you're there, but I'm gonna restate anyway, hoping that you hear me.
Yes.
Commissioner Joe Cotton was on the Executive Director Search Committee. And due to his expired term, he is no longer part of this same search committee. So my question to the commission was, are we going to go ahead without that number? Or are we gonna replace Commissioner Cotton on the committee?
Okay, do you have a motion related to that, Commissioner?
No, I do not. It was a part of the question.
Okay.
If there needs to be a motion, somebody else can make it. I just have a question.
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask if there's any motion related to that, and if not, I'm gonna move on to the next item on the agenda. Is there any motion? Hearing none, item 12 on the agenda. So, this is related to the appointment concerning a legislative advocacy committee for the commission, because we want to make sure that we have all the support we can so the commission can get all the money it can out of the legislature this session. Recognizing Vice Chair Williams for a motion.
A motion that we have a legislative advocacy committee, that anybody, I want to say anybody who's on the commission that is able to make it to the legislature on the 28th, discuss that and basically make themselves available on the 28th. That's pretty much it.
And any other time during the session.
Yes.
And that wants to help us, that has any legislative contacts, that wants to help us talk to legislators on or off the appropriations committees. And I know the acting director gonna be there with the CFO, making formal presentations, but it's also the conversations in the hallway that matter. And who you think gonna be on it? Who's willing to support?
I should be able to be there for sure on the Tuesday, the 28th. I don't know about other days.
Me?
West, I don't know, Rapidi.
Yeah, the officers at a minimum. Anybody else willing to serve with us on that committee is welcome to.
It's open discussion.
Yeah, in open discussion at this point, to support the vice chair's motion. She's saying, she's making a motion that anybody who's willing to be on it. So right now she's got at least 3 people and anybody else. I think that's her motion, right? Commissioner Robinson?
Yes, I'm gonna be in Santa Fe certain times, and the times that I'm there, with this, I can talk to several legislators if that's okay with this commission.
It sounds like we got 4 members on this legislative advocacy committee, and I'm very excited about that. Commissioner Rotini?
This gonna be a standing committee for the foreseeable future due to our terms, or is it gonna be one time for this session in particular only?
My motion would be for this session, and we'll discuss something else in the future if need be. For this session.
Sounds like it's for this session. The motion is to appoint 4 commissioners for this session to support our request for a budget. Okay?
I'll second that motion.
And Commissioner Robinson seconds the motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, the secretary to call the roll.
Commissioner Dabney.
Yes.
Commissioner Stone. Commissioner Vice Chair Constance Williams. Commissioner Roll.
Yes.
Commissioner Amelia.
Yes.
Commissioner Designee Anaya.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson.
Yes.
Commissioner Levine, yes. Chairman.
Yes.
So that is a unanimous 10, sir.
10 in favor and none opposed. Did the motion carries. And I did want to let everybody know, I had a feeling that the three officers would be at a minimum on this committee, and because the session had already started, I went ahead. I told you that the business cards were going to be important to this effort. So I went to Office Depot and had some rudimentary business cards printed for the three officers. And so we can, get into the legislators' ears and into their hands with the business cards. And so Commissioner Robinson, since you joined the committee with us, and I appreciate it, they don't look the greatest in the world. They don't look like official state business cards, but I can have a few printed for you too. So when you come to Santa Fe, you can have some to put in the hands of the legislators that you know, and they know how to get back in touch with you when they say, why should we give the King Commission any money? And so if you'd like that, let me know what information you want to put on it, and I'll run down there and they can turn that thing around in 24 hours. Just in case that.
You need me to tell you now? All you need to do is put my name.
Yeah, you can get back to me later. I think I can get that in your hands a little bit faster than the acting director can, working with the officials of state government on the state business cards. And the legislature is already in session, so. Right, the active director is saying, right, yeah, the state is a little bit slower than I can do with Office Depot. Yeah, okay, all right, so, yeah, Secretary.
What typically is the turnaround time for business cards?
It just depends on their workload. So that could be a couple weeks or, the longer. It just depends on what they are, what they have. Yeah, and in most cases it is a month.
Okay.
Yeah, just so.
And by that time, we probably already sinking or floating, depending on what's happening down at the legislature. So, that's the reason for the urgency on the business cards. And that, I think they'll take us to the next item here, funding request approvals and authority. Acting Director, you have something that you would like the commissioners to approve?
Just the hotel for the Youth Leadership Conference.
Thank you, Acting Director, and you have a recommendation for us.
I have a recommendation that the commission uses the Sheraton Airport Hotel for the Youth Leadership Conference.
Okay, and a motion, anyone?
Make a motion for the approval of the acting director's recommendation for the Sheraton for the youth conference.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, it's been motioned by the Vice Chair and seconded by Dr. Melia to approve the Acting Director's recommendation. Any discussion? Hearing none, the Secretary to call the roll.
Commissioner Robinson.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab. Commissioner Designee.
Yes.
Commissioner Designee. Roll.
Yes.
Commissioner Melia,
Yes.
Vice Chair,
Yes.
Commissioner Stone, Commissioner Dabney,
Yes.
Chairman.
Yes.
We have no abstained and we have no. We are unanimous, yes.
And how many in
We
favor?
have 10.
10 in favor and none opposed. Thank you. Motion carries. So with that, we got next the final review and approval of 2024 annual report. Possible action. Any motions related to that?
You need a motion first before we discuss anything?
Yes.
Okay, make a motion that we.
Okay, is there a second? A motion from the vice chair to approve it, second from Dr. Melia. Any discussion?
Wanted to see if, that were made during the December meeting weren't necessarily done. I know like Treasurer Montoya asked that she put be treasurer on here and not commissioner. So I don't know if those recommendations were done or not.
Actually, this is from the December.
Okay.
Yes, and so by next meeting, if not before then, you will have the complete, revised version.
All right, and then the revised version is hard copies made and the disseminated.
Placed on the website as well.
Okay.
So with that, then should we table this and just roll it to the next meeting?
So we don't finalize.
Yeah, let's,
Okay.
so then we can see the final revised version and completed. So I'll, no disrespect to you, Vice Chair, I move to table your motion.
Motion table, or I can't, but yeah.
Yeah, so somebody needs to second my motion to
Second.
table if it's gonna happen.
Second, Commissioner Dabney seconds.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Dabney. You second my motion to table. And then, is there any discussion on motion? You can't even discuss a motion to table. Secretary Rosina to call a roll.
Annual report.
Point of clarification,
Yes, Commissioner Robinson, go ahead.
is this the annual report that is due to the governor's office and to the legislators every year?
That's correct.
Well, can we table it to the next meeting?
Well, Commissioner, so my understanding is that I think here's procedurally, I think where things stand and what has happened. I think, and the acting director can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what has happened is that the annual report was sent to the governor's office. And I think it was sent timely, and I think it was sent on time. But I think what has happened is that the state treasurer had identified some corrections that she would like to see made. And so to accommodate the corrections that the state treasurer would like to see made, I think the commission has said we will make those corrections, and then in that we will have a official final corrected report. And so that's what we're trying to do.
I withdraw my clarification point. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
With that, may I proceed?
Proceed.
Commissioner Robinson, we're gonna start with you, that's okay? Yay or nay, sir?
Yes.
Commissioner Rodini also says yay. Commissioner Traub. Commissioner Parole.
Yes.
Commissioner Anaya.
Yes.
Commissioner Melia.
Yes.
Commissioner Stone. Commissioner Vice Chair.
Yes.
Commissioner Dabney.
Yes.
Everybody. Commissioner Chairman.
Yes.
Of the board.
Yes.
Yes. We'll call that a unanimous 10 in favor. And no nays.
And the motion carries. Thank you. Okay, so commissioners, that takes us with 23 minutes left in our meeting. To commissioner orientation, item 13. And so we don't have time to do an orientation in 23 minutes. But I do want to say this. We are moving ahead, and we are further ahead than we have been. And in the 3.5 years that I've been on the commission, there has not been a commissioner orientation. And I don't know how long further than that there has not been an orientation. I think it has been a long time. It may be that there has never been one. I'm not sure. But it is much needed that we do one. And I tried to shorten our agenda as much as I could so that we would have time to get there. It's very important that we get to it. And so we're going to have to get there. What I'm going to ask that you do is spend some time outside of this meeting with the handbook that you have. There's some good orientation and training for you in that. I spent a lot of time between Christmas and New Year's putting together some good information for you that will show you how the commission should work. And I want to take just a couple minutes talking to you about some of the documents in there. One of the most important documents that's in there, and it can be improved, it needs to be improved, it needs input from Deputy Attorney General, it needs input from Madam Acting Director, it needs input from our CFO. It in there is all of what I have seen in the 3.5 years that I've been on the commission and in the time that I have been in chair as chair of some of the recurring mistakes that the commission has made. And I wish that this is a document that somebody had put in my hands the day that I became chair of this commission. And I can't believe that it didn't exist. But this is something that anybody who becomes chair of this commission should have. And it puts the whole year in perspective all in one time. And I call it the recurring annual calendar. And it's going to tell you, any future commissioners, officers, chairs, how to observe any of the past mistakes and errors on a recurring annual basis from January to December. Don't make these mistakes. Look out for these key annual deadlines. Look out for this in January. Look out for this in February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. These things have to be taken care of year after year after year, month. They come at us over and over and over and over again. And somebody has to be minding the shop, and the things can't be missed. And again, I wish somebody had put this into my hands. It needed to have existed before now. Now you all have it. Now I can drop dead. I can drop dead and you all have this. And that's important. It's succession planning. If I had dropped dead before I created this, that would have been very bad, right? It's not enough for me to know it. You all need to know it. So correct this document, update this document, transmute this document, and treasure this document. The Deputy Attorney General has told us that this is a standalone agency of the state, and we cannot rely on anybody else to supervise us. We have to take responsibility to run this agency ourselves. Is that what you told us, Deputy Attorney General?
That's what I said.
And this document is a key piece of how we're going to meet our minimum legal recurring annual obligations over and over and over again. So the document is called the recurring annual calendar. Search that thing for mistakes that I may have made. Search that thing for things that I may have missed. and make sure that we meet our minimum legal obligations. I think the other documents that I put in there kind of speak for themselves, but I wanted to make sure that I emphasize that one because I think it is just that important. Deputy Attorney General, I know you had a 45-minute presentation. Are we gonna find time? Listen, if we have to do it at the February meeting, we can do that.
Yeah, we can do it at the February meeting. It's normally like a 4-hour presentation, which I was gonna, sort of reduce down to a 45-minute, but, and some of you have familiarity with IPRA, OMA, Gift Act and Government Conduct Act. So it's not a big deal, but I think just really quickly, I mean, I think the commission's on the right track. All I wanted to say is that, it's all about the transparency. And to your point, Mr. Chair, like, this is not an administratively attached commission. So it is on the members of this commission to make sure it's regulated and it rolls and it's doing the right thing and having proper oversight. But with that, it's just about transparency. The things I wanted to emphasize really quickly before this is that the Public Records Act, everything is always a public record. The notes that you're using, people can IPRA those things. There's no secrecy there. I also wanted to mention that with the Open Meetings Act, hence the reason why you have the Attorney General's presence in these meetings, to make sure that we're having open, transparent meetings, the public can participate, and that any action that's taken as a policy measure is in transparency of the public. Even when we form subcommittees, they go off, they do work, they come back, they report, and this member body takes action and approves it. So that's just what I want to emphasize. I think we're on the right track. There's some specific things I can iron out and mention to you in that orientation, but I think this is a really good step in the right direction, that we're making sure to get this thing online and we're allowing the comment. We're taking the right steps, so appreciate that.
Thank you, Deputy Attorney General. Well, Commissioner Trot.
Is this all the bylaws and policies and everything right here?
The bylaws are there, the policies and procedures are there. There's a table of contents that lays out, Commissioner Trot. I think you should have some statutes there. Really, I tried to include all the things that a commissioner ought to know about our commission that gives you, really everything that you should know. You should have the past year's minutes. You should have the commission's most recent audit. You should have the previous year's audit. I'm going by memory of the things that I tried to give you, just the universe of things that a commissioner should know and have at hand. I gave you the role of commissioners. You should be able to see in there who appoints, how the commissioners get on the commission. The 5 ex officio officers of the commission. 2 of them are elected officials, the Secretary of State, the State Treasurer. 3 of them are appointed officials, the of the PRC, the Secretary of Indian Affairs, a Native American appointed by the Secretary of Indian Affairs, the Director of the Department of Workforce Solutions or designee, and also the let me see. Maybe if I look around here, it'll help refresh my memory. There's another one, but then there's 8 appointed officials from the legislative leadership and also from the governor. The governor appoints 4, and then legislative leadership appoints 4. So there's the Speaker of the House, the Minority Leader of the House. There's a President Pro Tem of the Senate and the Senate Minority Leader. And then also there is one member. Here, let me look at my notes. This is like a memory test. Maybe I listed out all 13 members. I'm trying to do this in speed form, this orientation. Anyway, the information is there in your handbook. And we may be able to do a follow-up on this orientation. So commissioners, I'm sorry that we are short on time. We could do a more wholesome orientation, but as I said, the handbook is a great improvement of information for you. And I promise to be available to you if you have questions about how the commission operates. I hope you know that's nothing new. I always will be available to you if you have questions. At this point, at 3:47, I understood Secretary Rossini.
I am aware that we're getting close to the end of the agenda. Right now, if that's okay with me. I actually would like to move, put this motion on right now, to go to a closed meeting before we adjourn the meeting, because they're discussed behind closed doors as commissioners.
We can't do it. It's not on the agenda. We didn't give the public notice, so I had to rule that out of order, unfortunately. Yeah, but I will say this, we will have an executive session at the next meeting. And there is something that we do need to discuss in executive session. So that is coming up. Now, I would like to ask if Representative Herndon is online. And if she is, she will be able to give her presentation because we do have 10 minutes available in case she is online and would like to address us. Okay, I don't hear that she is. So that being the case, I think we're at the next point in our, let's see, did anybody have any other questions about the orientation?
Just thank you for creating it. I'll read through it and ask questions at the next time that we have an opportunity to do so, but thank you for creating that. It's helpful.
You're welcome, Vice Chair. I really did try to put together some good information for you. I think you'll find it helpful when you do look at it. And with that, our next meeting will be February 21st, 2025 at 1:00 p.m. And we'll look forward to hearing a report from our newly constituted Strategic Planning Committee, among other things. Thank you, co-chairs, for all your knowledge and experience on that subject. And that takes us to our next item, which is adjournment. Without objection, the meeting stands adjourned. Thank you all for everything today.